move on to card number 4. I think we're on card number 4. Yes, we are on card number 4. Excellent. And this is the one that I have specific. Oh, there was an extra piece in here, and that is actually just to stick onto your envelope that goes with the last card. So potentially you might want to stick it down the side or onto the back, and it just will make your envelope match in. So I can't remember whether I've done that with all of the cards or with just one. Oh, look, short piece for envelope. Obviously I did do that with this card. There you go. And let's bring these out. So again, because this is part of the same thing as the flowers are, I don't have them. I have cut myself something that's kind of similar-ish and uses something that's actually well and truly retired now, several years back. But it pretty much does the same purpose, and we're going to fussy cut again. So you're going to fussy cut this one out, so let's go ahead and do that. And then if you need to pause the video after I have finished fussy cutting, then feel free to do so if you're not quite up to the same stage as me at that point. And trust me when I say you do not want to fussy cut in and out of all of these little things that are on the merry-go-round. Just do yourself a nice looking circle round the edge of it all. So that is my one fussy cut. As you can see, I have not really desperately fussy cutted. Wow, I'm not too sure whether that's going to be in the dictionary. And then we have these pieces here. So you will have 2 long pieces. Oh, as I say, if you haven't finished fussy cutting, pause the video. So you'll have 2 long pieces like this, you'll have 2 long pieces of this, and you'll have a short piece. This is for your envelope, so that you can make your envelope match the card. So I'll just chuck that to one side. Now, you need just an ordinary black pen, or if you happen to have the Stampin' Up! 0.4 pen. I did not realise when I bought this that there is 3 in a pack. Oh my goodness. But this is what you're going to need. So you want a really fine liner, and you're going to take some of these circles, just go in and squiggle. So you draw around the edge of the circle and then you squiggle. And again, when I get to the end of drawing around mine and squiggling, then if you haven't finished yours, feel free to pause the video and carry on circling and squiggling till your heart's delight. Bearing in mind that some of this is going to definitely get covered over, so you could probably just sort of hold this in the middle and go, oh yeah, okay, so that's going to disappear, that's going to disappear, that's going to disappear. I actually only need to do these little sections around here. And it doesn't have to be at all precise with this. You probably just want to draw the circle and then squiggle. And you don't want to do every one, by the way. You only want to do some. Oh, might just Move that off there. How are we looking? Feel like that could do. You also want to take your two little pieces and do the same thing on those, but you will find that there is only part of a circle. So I think with these ones I actually ended up doing all of them. So I have finished squiggling mine. If you haven't finished squiggling yours, feel free, pause the video, and when you've finished squiggling, come back to the video. So we're now going to attach this big piece directly over the back of this. Well, over the front of your card, in fact. And it does sit over the entire card, so you should be good to sort of stand your card up and persuade it onto the background like that. And there it is. And if you find there's a tiny gap, don't worry, because this one's going to be going on. So the next thing to go on is these. Now, with the ones that I've given you, what I've done is I've actually tucked a dimensional under the end ones. So I don't know whether this is going to work so well with mine, but we'll give it a whirl. And we need a dimensional under there and kind of under this part here then. It's just going to give it a little bit of a raised look right on the edges. It's kind of cool. So trust me, would I lead you astray? That's what my husband always says. So like, yes, we have 3 children. Of course you led me astray. So peel off the backing on your dimensionals once you've got a line of adhesive at the top of this, and attach that so that it sits right on the top of your card. So you'll find the middle bit will flatten down, and then those edges will just flip up a little bit, which I think it kind of looks a little bit cooler, just rather than it being sort of boring and flat. And wonder if I should do, yep, I'm going to. So, and do the same thing. So I'm going to pop my dimensionals, oops, just onto there, and apparently I am taking the backing off a dimensional already. Oh, I've not managed to. Yours will be all right because you don't have little holes, whereas mine has little holes in it, and so when I put dimensionals on I have to try and avoid the holes as well. Nope, come on, let's move you along a wee bit. And we're just gonna flip my little bits of stamping seal up like that, take off those 2 pieces of backing from my dimensional, and I'm going to add this onto the bottom of my card. Just like that. Then our merry-go-round. Again, this is going to go up on dimensionals too. I'm going to start using some of this stuff around the back. Actually, I have some to use up here. I might as well use up what I've got there. And there we go. That should just about do me, I reckon. Take those pieces off there. Now, if you have trouble getting your backing off, you can sort of stab it with the take your pick tool, and it will pick your backing off for you. I usually use my nails. And the other thing is, if you press down on the back of it with the middle of your nail, then you'll find that it flips up as well. So let's stick this down into the middle there. That looks middle-ish. And these pieces here are going to stick onto here. They are going to be slightly longer because I haven't pre-cut them. And, you know, I think I'm just going to use a little bit of this. So ideally go for a straight line as much as you possibly can. And let's pop that one down. Oh goodness, no, I did not actually plan for you to move along like that. So as I say, you're going to end up with a little bit on the outside there, so now's the chance to just trim it up and make sure that it's flush to your card. And there may be a chance that your piece of this stuff is also a little bit longer. Stuff. What's it called? It is called, oh my goodness, everyday border accents. That is what your flowers and your scallopy bit and things are called. Okay, so we're almost done. You did it, almost. So I am using my other circle that I have, and I'm just gonna grab those pieces off there, and I am going to say for you on this one. For you. Let's pop that down, and again I'm gonna go with a bling. I've obviously only used one piece of bling on this one, and now I'm going to go with a dark coloured piece of bling because that's almost all I've got left on there. Obviously you can add more because you will have a lot more than I will. And that is that card. So there we go. Let's pop that to one side. Move on to the next card. So again, we have a little more fussy cutting to do. in your envelope you will have a merry-go-round, you will have some trees, you will have this piece which is for your envelope, you will have 2 pieces of this. Yours will be slightly different to mine once again because obviously I didn't have it. And you will also have these 2 pieces as well, so that's going to be that and that. Don't stick them together just yet, but you can stick this one down onto your card. So let's do that first off. So attach this one, oops, come on, straight down onto your card with your glue. And bearing in mind it has a little gap around the edge of it. Again, it's a 2.5mm-ish gap. Don't stick this one down yet. Okay, there's a reason. That's your envelope piece. Let's fussy cut next. So once again with the fussy cutting, if I get to the end of mine and you are not finished, then make sure that you pause the video and come back to it as soon as you have finished your fussy cutting. But in the meantime, I kind of recommend that you just hang around, unless of course you're just watching this and you're not playing. Wondering what else I should be telling you about, in fact, while I am here. Did you know that there is a designer series paper sale on at the moment? So if you are interested in that, I will put a link to my blog below anyway, because you will maybe want to see the cards static instead of moving around. So I'll put photos of the cards up on my blog. I'll put a link up as well to the will I don't know. No, don't know what I'll be putting links to. Definitely putting links up to the products. Oops. How fussy was I with this? Fussy enough that I did go in. There we go. You don't have to be particularly fussy with the base of it because that's going to be hidden behind the scallops. So if you have not finished your fussy cutting, feel free to pause the video at this point and just come back to it once you have finished your fussy cutting. So then you want to arrange onto your card where everything is going to end up sitting and pick out your saying that you want to use. What was I going to go with? Wishing you the very best. Maybe. Hooray. Sending you my love. These are getting quite big, these sayings. But maybe sending you my love. That seems like a nice saying for this particular card. So we're going to add everything to this one before we add it onto the card, because you're going to need to cut down the length of your scallops, potentially, if I didn't cut them to the right length already, which I suspect I may not have done. So stick your saying down flat. This one here goes up on dimensionals. I'm going to run out of dimensionals in a minute. Hopefully I've got some more in my drawer. Oh, phew, I do. Right, where Where are we? So, you know, I'm going to move on to my next pack of dimensionals and see whether this fits in here. Ooh. Yes, just about. Let's go with every other one-ish. Well, every other one. Let's pop one of those at the end and pop one of those at the other end. I think that should be okay. The alternative is you can use the edge of your dimensionals to create a long strip along the edge, so you could just pick out, you know, some of those pieces, and that was really thick because I don't actually need it on all of those. Okay, let's go. So attach it so that it is in a straight line, and you know, I'm just gonna, nope. Oh, Heather, honestly. There we go. That kind of works. And trim off the excess. I'll do. And then, so you can decide whereabouts these are going to sit on your card. So potentially you might want the palm trees to be a little bit behind the horses, or you may just want to have them. In fact, what I did was I actually had the palm trees coming off the side a wee bit, because then I decided that otherwise they would have to show behind the horses and I didn't really want them to show. Anyway, that's quite a waffle really, isn't it? Just add a bit of glue. It's going straight down onto your card so that it is flat on your card, both of these. So let's go like that. And same with this one. Oh. Okay, I might put that one up a wee bit more, because that is then going to sit, yep, like that. Oh, and in fact, I have enough space to be able to trim this one so that it's going to be a nice one that matches what's on the top. So that's good. All right, I am going to go ahead and use some of this siding. No, 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 Heather. Let's go from the end that I know that I'm going to be using. So how far along does it need to go? It's got one more bit there. Let's just grab that piece off the edge there. Pop that onto there. Oh my goodness, I have managed to go downhill. Yeah, let's curl that back uphill again and trim that piece off there. Just don't make sure you don't trim off the excess piece of palm tree there. And then this can now sit onto here. And again, there is a gap going all the way around it. It won't matter if your palm tree is a little bit longer than your card, or sort of like wider out than your card, because as I say, the envelope is a little bit wider. And then you want to add some blingy bits. Now I'm going to find some new bling because I really don't have enough here to do this with. Okay, I have made a decision that I'm going to go with this bling. And this bling is the Sunset Sparkle Sequins. But I actually needed to put the bling on to show you how I've done it. So we start off with going for the middle. So if you are a bit middle challenged, as I appear to be today as well, then grab a ruler. If you have a centering ruler, these are actually pretty cool centering rulers. You can then sort of work your way to finding the center like this. If you don't, then you're just going to have to measure it and go Harvey's. So centering it brings me to there. And I'm going to use, I'm going to use this one on the top actually. I'm going to go with two different sorts on mine. There we go. Bring it down. Pop that into the middle. So we've got, so you go the middle one and then you go the edge ones. So I've then gone with two smaller ones on the edge ones. And you pretty much kind of want to put them in approximately the same sort of place on the edge. And apparently my take your pick tool is a little dirty and it's picking up a bit of dirt there. And then you want to find the middle of this and go for it, which I reckon is about like that. So then you just copy and paste, as it were. So do the same thing on the other end. 1, 2. Oh look, that one would have been pretty on it too. Didn't think of that. And 4. And then that way it sort of centers them all nicely for you. So that's why you go with the center, then the outsides, and then find the middles. And there we go. So that is that card finished. So that was card number 5. There we go. Good, good. Glad I know where I'm at. And last but not least, we are moving on to card number 6, which is this one here. Oh, and that was my little piece for my envelope. And in card number 6, I feel like, what was that film that they used to have where you went behind the round window? What's in the round window? So yours will look like this. Mine I've had to adapt once again, and it looks somewhat bigger than yours does. Yours is very beautiful and delicate, and mine is not quite so beautiful and delicate, but that's fine. We can live with this. Right, so again, you can go ahead and stick this one down. Like this, and attach that down with a gap going all the way round. Don't attach this one down because we're going to trim it down again, and we are going to find ourselves a saying. So there's no fussy cutting with this card. Go me. So I was thinking of using this. So with this particular one, I have found this, which is in a different kit to be able to use with mine. So not a kit, different ephemera pack, because obviously I don't have this particular saying, sad to say, anymore. I have used it on this one. And who wants two cards the same anyway in your collection? Honestly. Oh. So yes, that is what I'm doing. I'm going to take off my backing on this one. It's like get the sound effects going. And then we want to place this as close to the middle as we can. Middle that way, not necessarily that way. It doesn't matter if it's up a wee bit or down a wee bit. That sort of looks centre-ish. And then we're going to take off these pieces. We could all do the sound effects together. Although I don't really recommend you do that too much, because otherwise you do lose the glue on the back of it. So stick that down. Obviously you don't have to do the 2 stages, you just do the 1 stage if you're using the happy, happy, happy birthday. And then we have, mine will have to go this way up. These then stick down so they are on the outsides of this. Now you do want to use some of the edging of your dimensionals to do this. So what I'm doing is just going to grab the edging like this. Oops. And oopsies. No, we're going to go this way. And let's make sure So the reason I'm lining it up is because there's no point in me putting dimensional onto the area that it's not really going to make any difference. And I don't need dimensional to go past that point. And it doesn't really need to be on the whole lot of it either. So it can just be on those points there. And I'm actually going to have to move this over to this side now. I didn't think of that. There we have it. Trim off your excess. And we are then going to do the same thing again, and I'm going to flip it over and sit it beside it this time because that wasn't terribly bright the way I did it last time. So let's pop, oops, oh, thought I had that cut. There, and I think what I'm then going to do is actually move on to this one and cut some of this. Because on the mini dimensionals you get this really wide strip at the side, which can be very handy for just cutting extra bits from. So we're going there and there. Let's take a backing off. And that should now be able to flip over and just sit like that. Very good. So trim off the excess. And you probably won't want to keep the scraps. This then gets to sit directly on top of here. This might be the easiest card. I may have saved the easiest for last. And then sits onto there with a little bit of a gap going around it. And apparently mine is going to look really sticky. That's because I've had to stick an extra layer of of paper over top of the little scallopy bits. Okay, then you just need a bit of bling again. Let me bring in my this bling. Oh, why not? Look at that. I've probably got enough in here now just to go with. I may in fact just use up the rest of this bling on this card. And now I don't know where to put it. There we go. Wow, look at that. I've actually finished off some bling. That makes a change. I usually have little pieces of bling left over when they retire. And I have a stash of little pieces of retired bling left over. Okay, so there we go. We are sorted on that. Now, that was the other thing I needed to show you before you head off, is in your pack you will have something that looks like this, and it gives you these other ideas of cards that you could create. So I just thought I'll quickly show you. I have done little score lines. You can probably see it better on this side. So score lines on there, and then I've just added a bit of your extra bits that you've got. Fussy cut a few of those other pieces from that cardstock. And again, you've got a couple of your flowers with one of your sayings, and it's just a case of using up your excess cardstock. And apparently I have a little bit of glue on there as well. Just rub that off. So you have got that picture so that you can see them. If you have any questions about them, feel free to ask me. So that one is just done. And all I've done is on parts of the cards, on parts of the paper, you're going to find that you only end up with a partial image anyway. So literally all I've done is used some of those partial images just to be able to put onto them. And there we go. So I hope you have enjoyed the Create Along today. If you want to join in the next class, either in person or by mail, let me know. And come back and join me next Saturday when we will do something different. Thanks. Bye.